For some travelers, passing through airport security isn't easy. David Nelson says he's often detained at checkpoints.
I said, "What do you mean terrorist check?" I said, "Do I look like a terrorist? I mean, come on now."
Another man called David Nelson also has been routinely detained by security screeners. They're among hundreds of travelers named David Nelson who have been stopped because they are on the U.S. government's so-called no-fly list of known or suspected terrorists. The list has been a source of frequent complaints by thousands of innocent travelers whose names have appeared on the list. The FBI says the no-fly list is just a small part of the government's consolidated terrorist watch list, which is compiled mostly by intelligence and homeland security agencies. All the information is managed and housed here at the FBI's Terrorism Screening Center outside Washington. The agents gather and analyze information daily. They then pass it along to other law enforcement agencies. Tim Healy is the center's acting director.
You want it to be accurate and complete. Complete's the key word, because you don't want to miss anybody, but you want it's a balance. It's a balancing act between private citizens and their concerns and the safety of the United States, and that's a balancing act that occurs every day.
An audit by the Government Accountability Office found that the TSC's consolidated watch list has grown significantly from 288,000 entries in 2005 to 1 million entries in 2009, containing some 400,000 names. Authorities say the watch list is one tool used to reduce the terrorist threat. Its main purpose is to make sure individuals on the list are properly screened when they're stopped by police for traffic violations or when they try to enter the country from international destinations. A call by police to the Terrorist Screening Center can quickly determine if the name on the list is a positive or negative match.
We're involving state and locals in information sharing, and we're involving other federal entities in state in information sharing of known or suspected terrorists, which is a good thing.
But some say this government effort is flawed. Jay Stanley of the American Civil Liberties Union in Washington says the watch list violates citizens' rights.
Everybody agrees that Osama bin Laden and his henchmen should be on a terrorist watch list. We don't have a problem with that. But the government needs to do this very carefully. They need to set up extremely strict procedures, not only so that, that you have to be very, very careful before you're put on the list, but that you have the right to get yourself off the list.
The Department of Homeland Security says 51,000 people have filed so-called redress requests since 2007, claiming they were wrongly put on the watch list. The FBI will not disclose specifics of how the records or names on the list are generated, but the FBI's Tim Healy says there is a procedure in place to get names removed.
If you've experienced an encounter, when you're flying and you think that you're on the watch list, or even if they've told you you're on the watch list, there's a process that you go through. TSA will start going through their process to find out, is this guy actually watch listed, and what can we do to help this individual out?
The FBI says 33,000 entries were deleted from the watch list last year based on outdated information and cleared investigations. And it says 95% of people on the list are not U.S. citizens. But Rachel Mirapole, a lawyer with the Center for Constitutional Rights in New York, says with 1 million entries, the watch list has grown too big.
Whenever you cast the net that wide, you're diffusing law enforcement resources from focusing on the individuals for whom there actually is evidence of connection to terrorism.
As security at the nation's airports and on the borders has been tightened, the FBI defends the watch list as a valuable counterterrorism tool, not just for the United States. They say information on the list is also being shared with Canada, Australia, and other U.S. allies in the global effort to track down known or suspected terrorists. Simkins, VOA News, Washington.